My name is Cade Courtley, and this is Can You Survive This Podcast. This show is designed to teach you techniques that will increase your chances of survival if you happen to find yourself or your family in any life-threatening disaster scenario imaginable. Each episode will put you smack in the middle of a new disaster scenario as I challenge my guests to see if they have what it takes to get out alive. Knowledge is power, people. Can you survive this podcast? Greetings, my fellow survivors, and welcome to another episode of Can You Survive This Podcast? I'm your host, Cade Courtley, and if you hear my voice, you're still alive. And it's my mission to keep it that way. Folks, very excited today. We've got SteveO with us. And if you don't know who SteveO is and you've been living under a freaking rock for the last couple decades, he's one of the wild men from Jackass the films and the TV series. And SteveO, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Cade. It's an honor to speak with a man who I presume has killed many men. Is that right? I mean, is that people find out that you're a SEAL, that you worked as a sniper? Like, it's safe to assume that you've killed people.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a lie.
Is it wrong or insulting to bring that up? I imagine if that's something that you were going to get bent out of shape about, that you'd probably find yourself very uncomfortable a lot of the time, right? Like, that's like the first question anybody asks, huh?
Well, you know what? It's only happened one other time, and it was this prick agent in Los Angeles. And he opened up with, "So how many guys have you killed?" And nice. I said, "It's about ready to be one fucking more."
Good. So I'm off to a terrible start.
It's all good, man. It's all good. So we do something called hypothetical survival world. And in many ways, it's kind of like the choose your own adventure books. I'm going to put you in a scenario. You're going to get 10 points for every right decision, and you're going to get minus 10 for every wrong. And at the end of this, we'll see if you survived this podcast.
All right. I'm sure that I won't, but
I don't know. I made this one custom for you. Are you ready to hear your situation?
Sure.
All right, SteveO, here you are. You are in hypothetical survival world. You are heading towards your car after dinner or a public event, something like that. And you're walking down an alley and some super fan comes up and asks you for an autograph. And you're like, "No problem." They hand you something, you sign it, you hand it back, and they've got a gun right on your chest. And they say to you, "Get in your car right now." So, decision number one. Are you going to try and disarm this super fan who, P.S., is definitely on something? Or are you going to go ahead and get in the car?
I think... I mean, that's a rock and a hard spot right there. I can see both scenarios going pretty bad.
That's the way we play this game.
I can see both scenarios going pretty badly, but I think that human nature dictates that you get in the car.
Correct. That's 10 points.
I mean,
so far.
and like the philosophy being that if you do something, I mean, he kind of kicked it over the line where he's definitely on something, like quick, like, you know, confrontation, physical, like confrontation, like you just see the gun going off. Whereas if you get in the car, I mean, you're not like, you know, in a good situation, but now you've got a little bit more time to maybe like, you know, appeal to whatever reason the person might have. You know,
all right, well, Steve, you nailed it. So what you're doing in a situation like this, time is your friend, and you are buying yourself some time. If you're going to get shot, it's going to happen right in the beginning of the confrontation. The longer you can stretch that out, the better it's going to be for you. So, correct, that's 10 points. All right, so you go ahead, you're driving. Do you go ahead, like you discussed earlier, try to befriend this person? You know, try to get to know them a little better, try and bring it down a notch, or do you just stay quiet and do what you're told?
I think you're going to want to probably read the person a little bit. You're not gonna wanna be that finger poking in his chest, you know, like antagonizing him in any way. But to the extent that you can appeal to any humanity in him, I think you want to kind of do that, but to kind of based on how you read him.
So you're going to try and befriend this person?
I mean, here, like, let me qualify my thinking. If the guy seems really agitated, really angry, really pissed, then, you know, don't feed into that. You know, I'm not going to try to communicate with that because, like, you know, that's, like, you're going to get more of that. You know, you're going to...
Go with that. Go with that instinct because it's the right way to do it. If the person wasn't on something, sure, it might make sense. Hey, how you doing? Can I help you out? But this guy is way too unpredictable. If
the person's agitated, if they're kind of raging, if they're like, you know, and then if there's a lot of negative energy coming at you, you're only going to really, like, recirculate that energy. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so you're up 20 points already.
Okay.
2 for 2. All right, so you are driving your car, and you don't know where you're going. Are you going to go ahead, follow the rules of the road, drive safely, or are you going to try and do some stuff like maybe swerve across the center line, maybe turn your high beams on, something like that, in an effort to maybe get somebody's attention? Albeit subtle.
I don't see a lot of benefit in that. I mean, just thinking through what you're suggesting, if we're trying to get somebody's attention, like the goal would be like to break some traffic laws so that you get pulled over. And like, if you do get pulled over, like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, I got to get pulled over, and then maybe the cop's going to come rescue you. And then now you've just put this guy in a potential firefight with cops, and you're sitting there, and that just doesn't seem helpful. So no, we're gonna drive like very normal.
3 for 3, my friend. That's awesome. Okay, it gets worse. You pull up to a driveway, you're at this home, you have no idea what neighborhood it's in, and basically he says, all right, turn off the motor and get out.
Okay, now he's directed me to the specific spot. So
yeah, you've pulled up at this guy's house.
Okay.
You're in his driveway, he says turn it off and get out. You're going to make a run for it, or you're going to go ahead and head inside with this guy. Unknown home, who knows what's going on inside. Again, this guy's twisted up, and he's got a gun on you. But this might be an only opportunity for you.
I mean, you can't outrun a bullet. You can't even necessarily outrun the guy. You know, we're gonna try to, you know, we're gonna try to appeal to whatever reason he's capable of having. So that we're gonna go in.
Congratulations. Here's the reason why, and you can kind of you could argue this point either way. This might be my only opportunity because I have no idea if I'm ever going to come out of that house. But going back to, let's try and de-escalate a little bit. The more time I get, the better chance I have of surviving. So in this one, although you could argue either one, I'm going with head on inside with this guy. Okay, so you get inside this house. There's a bunch of kids running around. The place is a freaking mess. And you're thinking, this is not going to end well. It's really starting to kick in.
Well, the kids are a good sign. What, like, the fact that there's kids there, like, that's promising.
It might be, because you have the decision between grabbing one of these kids as a hostage to tell him to drop the gun, or you continue to cooperate. You take something that might be of value to him, or...
Nah, we're gonna stick with being mellow.
Excellent. That's the right answer. You're 5 for 5. You got 50 points. My biggest reason would be I couldn't live with myself if something I did got an innocent kid killed. So you're going to continue to ride this wave of let's keep buying time. Maybe this guy will sober up a bit, come to his senses. 50 point. Decide to cooperate. You're not going to put any kids at risk. The gunman has led you up to a second-story room. He puts flex cuffs on you, which are, zip ties, and he's thrown a hood over your head, and he says, get in the corner and shut up. And he's left you there for hours. And you hear the noise downstairs. It sounds like they're still partying. Finally, somebody comes in the room, and you can do one of two things. You say to yourself, hey man, can I use the bathroom? Or you just act like you're asleep and maybe he'll lose interest.
Can I use the bathroom? I think is a pretty reasonable thing to ask. You probably have to use the bathroom too. I think that's the safest way to engage. So yeah, let's go with, can I use the bathroom?
Dude, you're 6 for 6 at 60 points. Here's the reason being, you've been in this situation for a while now, several hours. And so at this point, you need to start thinking about options for getting out of this situation. If you just act like you're asleep, you're no better off than if you ask a question and he might just say, go yourself. So you ask to go to the bathroom and he says, yeah, all right, man. So he leads you to the bathroom and you're basically like, come on, man, you don't have to watch me. So he leaves you alone in the bathroom. You're able to take the flex cuffs off because these things, the flex cuffs, they've got a little issue with them where you can put a splint in there or a wedge and you can basically open them up. So you're able to get the flex cuffs off. What do? Do you get ready to attack this guy and fight, who's still armed and still partying? Or do you put the flex cuffs back on and say, hey, I'm done in here?
Yeah, definitely more useful to pick your time, to be able to get out of them and know you can get out of them. You put them back on and don't let on that you can get out of them.
7 for 7 right there. And you just said it. You were able to do something that he didn't know about, putting yourself in a better position than trying to push the issue with a guy who's got a gun. And therefore giving yourself some options down the road, knowing that you can get these things off again.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you've got. He just left you alone for ages, and when you're alone, you've got a lot more opportunity than.
All right. He takes you back to the room, leaves you alone. You go ahead. You get the flex cuffs off, pull the hood off. There's a small window in there. You could crawl through it, but there's a 20-foot drop. There's no, I can do a dyno move and I can maybe scale this. It's nothing. It's a concrete wall, and 20 feet below you, there's a bunch of rock. Do you try to hang and jump from that window, or drop, I should say, hoping that you're not going to end up with a couple compound fractures? Or do you go ahead and try and slowly move through the hall inside the house to look for another option?
I've had compound fractures. They're not good, man.
I'm with you there.
So yeah, we're gonna cruise over to the door. We're gonna see if it's open. We're gonna open it a crack. We're gonna see if we can really inch our way through without blowing our cover.
You're 8 for 8 right now. And that's absolutely it. What good are you going to do if you get out that window and then you're sitting there on the ground with 2 broken legs? You're not going anywhere, and they're going to hear you screaming probably.
Yeah.
And so you're going to go ahead and you're going to move throughout the house. So you continue to hear the noises downstairs. Here's your options. You know you're still too high to get off the second floor. So are you going to slowly head downstairs? Or are you going to see if you can maybe find a phone upstairs to make a phone call?
You
can head downstairs to where you know they are, or you can see if maybe you can find a phone.
The phone is sounding pretty good. I think at this point it's important to determine, you said that you described partying as going on. So, if the house was completely silent, the phone would be a considerably less viable option because they would hear anything you're going to say into it. If the house has a lot of, noise going on, partying, maybe some music, then we can more reasonably expect to get away with a 911 call I'm not really familiar with calling 911 too much, but I kind of, something tells me that you don't even have to know the address you're at, that they just automatically track the call and they can come right away. So, based on how much noise there is in the house, I'm thinking that if there is some noise, we're going to go ahead and try and pull off a 911 call, and then we're going to explain that, that we're in a hostage situation, that our captor does not know that we're on the phone, that we need them to physically break into this house and come get us out.
Buddy, you're 9 for 9. That's the way to do it. If you can let law enforcement deal with the problem instead of you having to deal with the problem, much, much better for a number of reasons. Unfortunately, the line is dead. You got nothing. So you continue to move down the hallway upstairs. You start heading down the stairs slowly. You see a front door. You can hear people off to the left. You can hear them. And all of a sudden, you're halfway down the stairs and you get spotted by one of the kids. Do you run back up to the room, put your hood on, put your flex cuffs on, and see how it pans out with some more time have you been doing? Or do you say, this is my only shot and I'm going to run for it?
Well, there's A, B, and C here. And A being you go back up and put your hood back on. That's not going to help you. We don't know if that kid is friendly or unfriendly. You know, for all we know, the kid might be as much of a hostage as we are. So, well,
let me scale it down for you a little bit. You see him, he sees you, he runs towards the noise downstairs.
Oh, okay. So he's going to alert our captor to the fact that we're.
He might. He saw you and it made him scared. Is he going to tell the guy? Is he going to run to his room and not say anything?
I mean, that definitely increases the urgency. I think he's spotted us. How many other did only the one spotted us?
It's just one kid who saw you mid-stairway, got scared, and ran the other direction. No idea what he's going to do.
Okay.
You've been spotted by a kid in that house.
All right, well, we're halfway down, so it doesn't serve us to, just stay halfway down the staircase. Definitely don't want to go back up because, we've come this far, and if our cover's blown, then we don't get anywhere going backwards. So we're definitely going to keep going down the stairs. At this point, it's less sneaky because, being sneaky is... we're not sneaky anymore. So we're going to probably want to not run or seem but maybe we're just going to walk a little bit calmly and naturally as if we belong there. See if that gets us to the door.
You're looking at a door that's about 30 feet away. Are you running for it or are you heading back upstairs? That's all you got, man.
Oh.
You don't know if the kid's going to do anything. You got a door that's 30 feet away down the stairs or you're heading back up to come up with another option. What are you gonna do in your 10th and final option?
I don't like the idea of running, but I do like the idea of continuing forward towards the door.
Okay, well, congratulations, Steve. You survived this podcast.
Cool,
Good job, man. I mean, that was well thought out. SteveO is a survivor. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it.
Hey, brother. Thank you, man. I look forward to meeting you in person, brother. Take care.
Absolutely. See you, buddy. Hey, folks, don't forget to ring that bell. And if you have any survival questions or disaster scenarios you'd like me to put a guest through, leave it in the comments and you may see it in a future episode. So you can be a survivor, not a statistic. Can You Survive This Podcast is a Cavalry audio production recorded live from the bunker in Denver, Colorado. Hosted by me, Cade Courtley. Produced by Brandon Morgan and Kate Courtley. Associate producer is Jeff Apple. Executive produced by Keegan Rosenberger and Dana Brunetti. Service, commitment, and integrity are the traits embodied by our nation's defenders, veterans, and first responders, and they are also the core values upon which the Gary Sinise Foundation is built. The Gary Sinise Foundation serves and honors our nation's defenders, veterans, first responders, their families, and those in need. Whether the Gary Sinise Foundation is providing specially adapted smart homes to severely wounded heroes, supporting Gold Star families, or providing essential equipment, training, and PPE to first responders, in all of the Foundation's programs, they honor those who so bravely defend our freedoms every day. Support our heroes today at GarySiniseFoundation.org.